What's up, YouTube? Kristo here, and I've got my number 2 review for you from my top 10 spring for 2016. Niche, of course. Uh, I'm not going to get into the whole niche versus designer. Is Comme des Garçons niche or designer? In my eyes, Comme des Garçons are straight up and down a niche fragrance house, and it's my list, so tough luck if you disagree. I'm just joking, obviously, but people will argue whether it is or isn't a niche house, but talk about that another time, perhaps. So this fragrance here is actually kind of the second in a series that Comme des Garçons did that was meant to be anti-perfume. The first one being Odeur 53, this one being Odeur 71, although it's probably meant to be the number's meant to be said in French, but I'm going to stick with 71 because that's what I've always called it. Now, I've got this list here from the Comme des Garçons website, like the Parfums Comme des Garçons website. They've got two paragraphs here. One is about what it's meant to smell like, and the other is about the notes. Now, it's kind of hard to read because they definitely did not have a very competent English language speaking editor, so bear with me here. The second anti-perfume, a deepening of the research into solid phase microtechnology, cloning inorganic smells from modern daily life and mixing them with natural ingredients. So it's one heck of a run-on sentence there, but basically it's saying that this is meant to take daily smells from a modern world that are kind of cloned or inorganic or man-made, and mixing them with natural things. Now, the notes here, if you're familiar with this fragrance or Odeur 53, the whole shtick behind it is that it's meant to be anti-perfume. It's meant to have notes that are very avant-garde, very less orthodox, okay? Now, the first few notes here, the first kind of 5 or 6 notes, I think are more just for marketing sake. The last couple notes, and I'll mention when they come up, are what are actually in it, I believe, that give the feeling or the essence of the kind of more, unorthodox or avant-garde notes. So they say this smells like dust on a hot light bulb, warm photocopier toner, hot metal, a toaster, freshly welded aluminium, the ink in a fountain pen, fresh pencil shavings, and this is kind of where it actually gets a bit more realistic. Wood and moss, bay leaves and bamboo, hyacinth and lettuce juice. Now, I can't really say much about the lettuce juice, but the other ones I definitely get at least up to some extent. For me, the main notes in this, I do definitely get a kind of watery green organic feeling. I've read numerous places that there's meant to be bamboo in this, and that would make a lot of sense, especially as well mixed with the hyacinth, because hyacinth as well can be kind of a very watery, kind of light floral green note as well. I definitely get something that smells really metallic. I can't quite say what it is, but there's definitely something metallic feeling in this. And as well, I get incense. I actually get, I would say, more incense that lasts longer than anything else, really. But it's pretty interesting because when you smell this and you look through the weird notes, and I've even heard other notes listed on other websites, and it's kind of like, wow, okay, I do kind of get that actually. If you go looking for it, you can kind of find it, which is, I think, the genius of this, because I pretty much only get, like I said, like green, watery incense and metallic notes. But somehow if I go looking for it, I can kind of find it in here. It's really, really interesting. Now, what does this fragrance remind me of? And again, this is kind of a case of, I think that the company did such a great job on putting together what it smells like, even though it was kind of hard to read. I don't know if that's influencing me or not, but this has always just, to me, smelled like the environment around me. It's just like walking through someone's house. Okay, so go to someone's house for the first time and you smell all these different things that you've never smelled before. Everyone has a different house smell. And that's kind of, to me, what this reminds me of. It's just like this organic/inorganic environment that just kind of constantly encapsulates me while I'm wearing it. And I just find it so fascinating because I've never actually gotten any compliments or remarks or complaints or anything like that from this. But it's the kind of thing, I'm sure, if I was wearing this just around, normal people who aren't into fragrances, they probably wouldn't even think it was perfume. They would probably think it's just the way I smell. And it might be kind of like, strange, different, shocking, maybe strangely familiar or strangely likable. But that's just always what this reminds me of. It just reminds me of walking into someone's house and just picking up all these different things in the air and, just associating that scent with them. I'm really, really obsessed with this fragrance, and I just find it so simple yet so complex and perplexing as well. I really, truly, genuinely love this scent. Now, in terms of performance, it's actually decent. These are standard EDT. Both this and 53 are EDT. But I would say I get pretty decent longevity for such a light, watery, fresh, airy EDT. I'd say easily 6 hours, maybe going up to 8 at the maximum. Projection on this, it's interesting because, like I said, because this just kind of smells like an extension of someone's personal smell or their personal environment. It's the kind of thing that you kind of have to look for it around you. It definitely projects, like, not amazingly, but after I put it on, after a couple of minutes, it just smells like the environment around me, and I have to kind of go searching for it, and I'm like, there it is, wow. So I'd say projection bubble is a little bit smaller, but the longevity, I think, is quite decent. Now, for this one, season, spring, through and through. Just the kind of light incense. And I should say as well, the incense in this is not like Avignon. It's not like Kyoto. It's not like you would get from the incense line. It's actually very light, very airy, transparent. It smells more like just like light smoke coming from a stick of incense rather than like this thick, oily, resinous church incense that we often would think of, especially with Comme de Garçons. To me, this is just like perfectly summer. Just vegetal, organic, green, watery, a little bit metallic, little bit of incense. I think it's just absolutely without a doubt. No question this would work in the spring as well. But to me, I think the kind of watery green notes really, really work well in the springtime. Occasion, this one is just something, if you're interested enough to wear it, you can just wear it anywhere. I can't say it's particularly like a difficult fragrance to wear. It's a kind of thing I actually see more people smelling it and just going, doesn't smell like anything. It smells like water. It's not like a lot of Comme de Garçons fragrances that people find really challenging, difficult to wear. I actually think a lot more people might be just disinterested in it because they think it literally smells like nothing. And I can kind of understand where they're coming from. Like I said, it just does smell like your natural environment. And I have been fragrance sniffing with friends or people from fragrance community, and they're just like, there's nothing there. Like they swear it's like an empty blotter paper, but it's definitely not. In terms of gender for this one, again, this is straight up and down. There's really, really nothing to lean masculine or feminine. Like this is, to me, the absolute archetype of a daring, strange, different, unique, unisex fragrance. For price on this one, this is a really big point for me. This one is actually, you might be able to tell from here, it's actually a 200 ml bottle. It definitely, looks bigger than a standard 100, but they're actually come in 200 ml standard. There is nothing bigger, nothing smaller. Online, Lucky Scent in the United States, they're charging $135 for the 200 ml. And in Canada, on the perfume shop, I believe it was $155. If not, then it was $145. I kept looking at all these different sites and different things, and they all had something a little bit different. But either way, if you're in Canada, that's actually a pretty good exchange rate. I think it's $155, but not 100%. But it's still a very good price for the exchange rate at the moment. I don't usually get into this as well, but I do want to quickly look at packaging. Now, I've said I love this, and this is how much I love it. I actually have 2 bottles of it. I had a third that I actually ended up splitting just because I realized it was way, way, way more than I ever needed, and I got it for a very good price. So people just, it was gone in a couple hours, the entire 200 ml. So I just want to look at the packaging really quickly because it's kind of cool. As you would expect from Comme des Garçons, they're going to do something a little bit different every time. So the box here, very minimal, literally just number 71 on the front. And then on the back, it just kind of has the little blurb, Comme des Garçons, where it's made, what's in it, etc., etc. Now, this is the cool thing that I always enjoy about Comme des Garçons. They always have some sort of unique packaging. So this is my backup bottle, unopened. This is like a sealed aluminium bag here with the bottle inside right here. And I love it because it's just so big and so unnecessary and just such overkill, but it's just what they do, and I love it. I think it's just really unique. To me, packaging like this stands out so much more than really hideous, gaudy, over-the-top packaging. I think this looks great. I'm also a very big fan of minimal packaging. I quite like that as well. And of course, Comme des Garçons do some really great minimal packaging. Okay, so positives for this. Honestly, I think this is just so different and so unique. It really, truly stands out to me. Other than Odeur 53, which is different, I think there's just really nothing like this out there. Nothing. It's just so fiercely unique, but at the same time, it just smells like something that we're all familiar with. It just smells like just kind of everyday items that we would pass by in, everyday life. I think that's great. Bottle size and price, great. 200 ml for $140, $135. That's incredible. You can't even get crappy mid-range designers for that price per mil, at the drugstore. So this just beats the pants off of it. It's fairly easy to access. If you live in North America or Europe, it's fairly easy to access. It's available online through Lucky Scent, the perfume shop, Dover Street Market in Europe. But yeah, I think the availability is great. Projection and longevity, I think, are pretty good for what this is, for a really fresh, light, airy spring scent. I think it's good. Unique. You're not going to run into many people that smell like this, if you would even notice. Negatives to this one, yeah, I definitely think it's going to be more people just being there's nothing there. I don't smell anything. This is a waste of money. It's not going to be whoa, that's so strange and freaky and weird. I can't handle that. I can't wear that. It's probably going to be people smelling this and just going, there's nothing on my paper. There's nothing on my skin. There definitely is, and it's pretty special. Give it a couple chances. I urge you, because this stuff is amazing. Negative sides, yeah, if you're new to niche, this might be kind of hard to find, maybe still a bit expensive. even though it is a 200 ml bottle, you know, over $100 is kind of expensive for newcomers to fragrance. Really, there's not much I can say negative about this. Like, I honestly truly hold this as one of my all-time favorite fragrances. Easily my top 10 of all time. Not just spring, not just niche, not just, you know, Comme de Garçons. I would truly say this is an all-time top 10 for me. So, you know, overall, yeah, like I just said, this is a phenomenal work of avant-garde, um, you know, ahead of its time fragrance. There's just nothing really like this that's ever been done, except 53, which I think is also great. Different enough, but I think they do definitely have similarities. I love this, and it's just a fragrance that if I could smell like this all the time, I would love it. So I would smell like this before I put fragrance on, if that makes sense. It's just like this really strangely familiar, kind of natural, like as in appearing in an environment naturally smell that I just love. Like you can obviously see I have worn a very, very big chunk of my 200 ml bottle there. So there you go. One of my all-time favorite fragrances from my all-time favorite niche fragrance house. So turn it over to you. What do you think? Have you tried 71? Do you enjoy it as much as I do? Can you compare it to 53? I will definitely be doing a video on that a little bit later. I just got a bottle of 53 in the mail a couple months ago. Yeah, let us know what you think, and stay tuned for my big number 1 probably in a couple days. So thanks for watching so much, everyone, and I'll see you again soon.